I want to talk about a story which is happening here in the UK. In Edinburgh, 2 people stabbed after a man spotted carrying 2 large knives. Officers swooped on the Calder area of Edinburgh this morning. To give us the detail on this, Peter Blexley, our crime commentator, former Metropolitan Police detective, is with me now. Peter, tell me your thoughts on this and what has happened.
Well, apparently this situation began in a shop when a man entered with 2 knives, 1 in each hand, and started to basically trash the insides of this shop. There are images out there in the media where there's huge disruption and damage caused to stock and the shop. And apparently, as the staff fled for their back office, where they barricade themselves in, quite wisely, I would suggest, given this situation, one woman was not able to make it into that area of safety, and she was reportedly stabbed. Another person also stabbed, 2 people hospitalised, and so my thoughts are very much with them this evening. This man apparently then sauntered out of the shop and made his way back to a flat where he lives, and a lot of images again are available of him making his way to these block of flats. He was then hemmed in there by armed police, and so began what you could rightfully call a siege for some hours before they were finally able to arrest this man, take him away, and he's currently in custody.
Do we know how they persuaded him to come quietly?
No, and hostage negotiators often keep their tactics very close to their chest, so we don't. But clearly those negotiations went on for some time, many hours in fact, and there's been huge cost to the public here, not only in terms of policing, but paramedics and the disruption that's been caused, as well as to the local economy, of course, with this shop not being able to open. So an incident with huge cost on many levels, and I so sincerely hope that if somebody is convicted of these crimes, that those kind of factors will be taken into account as and when they're punished.
Chief Inspector Scott Kennedy said the earlier disturbance in the Calder area of Edinburgh is now contained and there is not believed to be any wider risk to the public. The incident is not being treated as terror-related. Officers were called to reports of a man with a bladed weapon on Calder Gardens around 8:25 a.m. Specialist resources, including firearms officers, in attendance at a property nearby. 2 people injured and taken to the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh for treatment. The ambulance service confirming all of that as well. Peter, knife crime is such a dreadful thing on our streets, and this is something that is visited in Edinburgh as well as many, many other cities right across the United Kingdom.
Yes, but the key word to what you've just said is streets. And unfortunately, idiots in charge of British policing for many years now have essentially surrendered the streets because the police do not patrol. You very, very rarely see a police officer patrolling the streets on foot. And this used to be how policing was done in my day. Now, senior police officers will be shouting at their radios and their screens now, saying, "I'm a dinosaur, that's not how we do it these days." Well, they might be right that it's not how they do it, but they're wrong. They're fundamentally wrong. In the name of efficiency and turning themselves into an emergency service like the AA or the RAC, for example, they've abandoned patrolling the streets. And consequently, that space is now ruled by criminals. And as a result, we have a shoplifting epidemic, we have a knife crime epidemic, we have a fly tipping epidemic, and much, much more. And that's because British police willingly, knowingly surrendered the streets.
Peter, thank you. Peter Blexley there, former Metropolitan Police detective and our crime commentator.